Hey everybody, CKCB is on this upcoming Valentine's Day multi-true crime podcast collaboration. So check out this spot and look for the episode when it comes out around Valentine's Day.
Hey listeners, I'm Christy.
And I'm Melissa.
We're the hosts of the chilling podcast, Buried Motives.
And guess what, folks? We've got something special for you this Valentine's Day.
That's right. We've teamed up with some of our incredible podcast friends for a one-of-a-kind collaboration.
Introducing the Broken Hearts collaboration.
Every true crime enthusiast knows that love can sometimes take a turn, leading to unimaginable consequences.
This Valentine's Day, join us as we explore cases where love went horribly wrong. It's a twisted journey through the darker side of relationships.
You've heard of the 7-year itch, right? That crucial time when tensions escalate and couples are put to the ultimate test.
Well, in this collaboration, we've got something special for you. Each podcast will share a case representing 1 year out of the infamous 7-year itch.
We've delved into the depths of true crime to bring you stories that will send shivers down your spine.
So buckle up, listeners. Get ready for an unforgettable ride through the world of broken hearts.
We hope you enjoy this special collaboration as much as we loved putting it together.
Subscribe now to Buried Motives and our Amazing Friends podcast. Don't miss the Broken Hearts collaboration coming this Valentine's Day.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and Beer.
True crime from the point of view of two crazy Florida men. And I'm crazy Florida man Bill.
And I'm Crazy Paul from Florida.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So I wonder if anybody picked up the hint that I dropped at the very end of BTK Part 3. When
about having the munchies?
Yeah, and maybe wanting a sub.
Yeah.
Because I told him I was going to make him wait. So I wonder if anybody figured out, he said that he wanted a sub. Maybe he's going to do Jared from Subway.
Yeah. Get some fast food.
I'm telling you, man, after going through this episode, I don't know if I could ever eat at Subway again, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this one's long. Well, not as long as BTK3, but still.
I just recently went to Subway about 3 weeks ago, and I didn't have the bread. I decided to get one of those, the bowls. You can just do the bowl, or you do the stuff.
The protein bowls is what they call them.
The protein bowls, and those are actually pretty decent. But
the thing about for one thing, there's that study about their tuna subs, but not tuna. It's like very little actual tuna in a tuna sub at Subway.
Very.
Not to mention the fact that you're standing in the line and everything. You're looking at the at all the stuff that they have because it's right in front of you. Have you ever looked at the eggs that go on their whatever sub, sandwich that has the eggs in it? Those things look absolutely revolting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing with their.
Doesn't even look real.
Huh?
I'm like, it doesn't even look real. It looks like something you'd see like in the Matrix or something. Like what is that?
Yeah.
Well,
it looks like
tastes like chicken.
And then and not to mention their like so-called Philly meat. I mean, what the hell is that? That doesn't even resemble Philly meat.
I don't know. I I know. Like I said, I rarely even go anymore.
Well, I've been going quite a bit,
Yeah.
lately before I started bringing my own food to work. So, making a lot of changes lately.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It's like no fast food. I can't tell you. It's probably been a couple years since I've been to McDonald's. It's been a couple years since I've been to Wendy's. It's been a while. It's been a long time. So
Yeah.
but
I'm not a big fan of fast food. I mean, Wendy's hamburgers McDonald's hamburgers are absolutely disgusting.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
it's like I take one bite out of it and it makes me gag. And then
yeah.
Wendy, I like Wendy's burgers. They're okay, but their fries are disgusting.
Yep.
A Whopper tastes very, very good, but it's the best tasting fast food burger out there. But mark that. but Burger King's fries are disgusting as well. And there's something about the Whopper. I don't know what it is. I don't know why this happens, but I'm hypoglycemic, and for some reason, whenever I eat a Whopper, my blood sugar plummets within like less than a half hour later. I don't know why that is, which really sucks because the Whopper is the best fast food burger out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have the Whopper. This is several years ago, back 2015, 2016. Now I only remember the date. It's like, when did you have your last Whopper? Well, it was on such and such a day. The only reason I remember is I was living in Shanghai, China for work, and massive, massive city. And they had Burger King. Burger King was I wouldn't say everywhere, not like here in the West, but I saw first I saw a Burger King. I'm like, oh, American food, yes, all right.
And it was different, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Their hamburgers taste a hell of a lot better than it does in the United States. Yes, their Whoppers are unbelievably good.
Wow.
Yeah, it's something.
If you're in Shanghai, get one of those, freeze it for me, and then send it to me.
Right? Yeah. And then when and living there for a while, I realized they get a lot of their dairy and a lot of their beef from Australia. So it's really good product and stuff like that. So you don't see the triple Whopper here in the States very much unless you ask for it. They will make you one.
They'll make it. Yeah.
It might cost $40. But I had
speaking of,
like, that's a massive burger.
Speaking of $40, don't even get me started on Five Guys. Their burgers aren't bad, but they're expensive as hell. I've been to frickin' sports bars and paid less for a burger than I did at frickin' Five Guys.
Yep.
And it's like, but they give you all these fries. So it's just like, okay, what are they doing? Charging you $0.25 for every fry they give you? Is that why it's so fucking expensive there?
Yeah, I think it's the carbs. I think they charge you $1 per carb. Just for the fries.
I've probably only been to Five Guys about 10 times in my life, but I went last year for probably the first time in 6 years or something like that, and I couldn't believe it. It was like $24 just for a burger, fries, and a Coke.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they wrap it. You have to eat it right then because they wrap it in aluminum foil.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't eat it right then, it's soggy. The bun is soggy if it's wrapped in that aluminum foil for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah. If it's in there for just a moment, it's just soaking up all that juice from that bread. And I'm like,
and the steam.
Yeah,
and the steam as well.
Yeah.
So it's like
same with the fries too. Yeah, same with the fries. Yeah. I mean, if you don't eat those fries, they ain't gonna be crispy. Period. Done.
No, and then I mean their food isn't bad. Their fries are good. The burgers are good. I mean they taste like how you would cook it, They taste like what it would taste like if you cooked it on a frying pan at your house and didn't season it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they taste like, which is pretty good burger, really.
Mm-hmm.
But $25?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
Fat
nuts.
Five Guys, do better. Do better. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I'm going to pay $25 for a burger, I'm going to go to like a Ford's Garage, or I'm going to go to like Buffalo Wild Wing or something like that, where I know I'm getting a really good freaking burger.
Exactly. Yeah. Or freaking Hooters. That way you can at least get the freaking scenic route.
Yeah.
Go to scenic route for your burgers if I'm going to pay that much. Man.
Twin Peaks.
Yep.
Anyway. All right. Well, this opening digression is kind of on topic because we are talking about Subway.
Yes.
Which is a fast food restaurant.
Dive into the
Yeah. And it's a little, I knew about what had happened, what Jared was and all that stuff. I knew about it, but I had no idea he was as depraved as what I found out when, in putting this episode together. It's a lot worse than I knew. And,
really?
Yeah, a lot worse. I'm not going to give a trigger warning because this is a true crime podcast. You don't need a trigger warning.
Exactly.
You should know there's going to be bad shit in it. But but it's a lot worse. It is a lot worse than I thought that it was. I had no idea. I knew he had gotten arrested for messing with kids, but I didn't know the extent of it.
Me neither.
So everybody remembers Jared Fogle, right? The Subway spokesperson who was 400 pounds plus, and he ate nothing but Subway subs for a year and dropped 250 pounds. Well, if you're not familiar with this story, other than seeing his goofy face on the Subway commercials, which I don't see how that would be possible because the story was huge. I mean, like I said, I knew about it, but it was bigger than Jared was before he started eating Subway.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so just grab a beverage, get maybe some chicken wings or a steak or anything but a sub, and get comfortable and get ready for some creepy shit. Jared had a very dark side of his personality. He liked young girls, and he would use his fame and fortune to facilitate that desire, to the point that he was even using his so-called charity to fund it. He didn't even try to hide it. He had everybody fooled. Even Oprah loved him. The Muppets loved him. President Bush loved him. John Cena, LL Cool J. And the list goes on and on and on. He's rubbing elbows with just about everybody who was anybody during that time. He was every bit as big as they were, if not bigger. And I mean, like in popularity, not size.
Yeah.
He did that commercial with John Cena. He should have done the commercial with like one of the like extremely fat wrestlers and be like, "Hey, I could help you out too," and then have the wrestler going, "You calling me fat?"
Right.
Missed opportunity there. Missed opportunity. But oh well. Actually, you know what? I feel bad for the celebrities that did pal up with him.
Oh, I know.
Because of what he was. So Subway did know about it, and they tried to cover it up. And Jared had 14 victims that we know of. So, warning. This episode might turn you into a Jersey Mike's customer.
Now, what was the name of that other joint? What was the name of that other joint? Never mind.
Quiznos.
No. Yeah.
The Jersey Mike's subs are much better anyway. For example, their Jersey Mike's tuna sub actually has real tuna in it. You're welcome, Mike. It's free sub, maybe a sponsorship.
Yeah.
Although I do miss Quiznos though. They had some good food there.
That'll be their
And I love
subtitle, like real food.
Yeah. I love those commercials that Quiznos came out with the rats and all that stuff. Those are great. Those are hilarious. We love you subs because they are good for us. They got a pepper bar. So anyway, go to Jersey Mike's.
What was the name of that other one? Yeah.
Wait, we're from Florida.
Yeah.
Florida. Pub sub, man.
Pub sub.
Pub sub.
God dang, I forgot about.
Go get yourself a pub sub.
Pub sub. Pub sub.
Publix has a pepper bar too.
Yeah. Now, Publix does make some really good subs.
Yeah, fried chicken too, but I think we covered that on a different episode.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning, shall we? There's a lot to unpack with this chucklehead. Although we're going to try to keep this at one episode. After 3 weeks of BTK, we should probably wait a little while before doing another multi-part episode. Do you think?
Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to poetic reading.
Primary source of this is the documentary Jared from Subway Catching a Monster. It's on Discovery Plus. No, wait. Is it Discovery Plus? I found it on Amazon. I can't remember if it's on Discovery Plus or not, but I found it on Amazon. But I also access Discovery Plus from Amazon, so I don't know. Jared Fogle was born August 23rd, 1977 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Great. He's a Virgo. He's born day one of Virgo season. But he's an August Virgo. September Virgos are the best, and everybody knows that. He had a normal upbringing. His father was a doctor. His mother was a teacher. He had a younger brother and sister. Good loving family. As a child, he was the loner, nerdy kid. Around sixth grade, he started putting on weight fast, and he was the heaviest kid in his middle school, even likely outweighing some of the adults as well. He was between 250 and 300 pounds in middle school.
Wow. He was a big boy.
By the time he graduated high school, he was 400 plus pounds, and everybody knows that the fat kid gets bullied mercilessly, especially if it's a fat kid who can't fight. Yeah, I remember a kid in high school or junior high that was huge. He was probably in the 200 plus pound range, and he was barely 5'7". But he was popular. Why? Because if you messed with him, he'd kick your ass. He transferred in during the school year, and I think he was in 8th grade. And like within the first week that he was there, 2 punks from the football team jumped him after school. And this kid beat both of their asses badly. And I witnessed this. And from that point on, nobody messed with him. And the following year, he was an offensive lineman on the football team.
Yeah. So he was auditioning.
Yeah, and he was even on the team in high school. But Jared wasn't this kid. Jared was the kid who got bullied and went home crying more often than not. Jared had no friends, so he found solace in food. Cheeseburgers. And he ate as much of it as he could. And in college at Indiana University, he was at his largest, approaching 450 plus pounds. A doctor told him that he was going to die young if he didn't lose the weight. A student publication in the college called The Daily Student featured an article called From Thick to Thin, and it featured a slim and attractive Jared Fogle. People who knew him but hadn't seen him in a while couldn't believe it. And Jared had become a local celebrity. He had dropped 245 pounds in less than a year. and he would eat twice a day, a turkey sub in the afternoon and a veggie sub for dinner. And I'm not sure that that's the healthiest diet, but I'm no nutritionist.
Yeah.
I do know that if I eat a turkey sandwich or a turkey sub from Subway, I'm hungry again pretty soon after I eat it. A Jersey Mike sub or a pub sub stays with me longer.
Mm-hmm. Pub sub.
Pub sub.
Pub sub.
Sponsor us, Publix. Sponsor us.
Yeah. Ching ching.
So Subway found out about this, and they sent a camera crew to interview Jared for a commercial. And even before that first commercial, Jared had landed his first girlfriend, who later became his fiancée. He was actually happy for the first time in his life. The commercial broke, and people fell in love with him overnight. And he clearly wasn't an actor, which made him seem real to everybody. He clearly did do this. This wasn't some Subway conspiracy where he had a nutritionist behind the scenes working with him, although it was a plain sub with no cheese, no mayo, just turkey and veggies. And it was a 6-inch sub, not a 12-inch.
So he starved himself.
I was just going to say that. He's basically starving himself.
Yeah.
Because, and Subway's food is not the most nutritious that there is available. I mean, Jersey Mike's or Pub Sub is going to be a lot more nutritious than anything that you're going to get at Subway.
Absolutely.
Or even Quiznos too. I think that those commercials with the rats, I think that was the death knell for Quiznos, because
Probably.
I loved those commercials, but I know an awful lot of people who thought they were disgusting.
Right.
I thought they were great. I loved those commercials. In fact, it's like I need to go on YouTube. I'm sure that those commercials are on YouTube. I just need to go watch every single one that I can find, because I love those commercials. They're so great.
Yeah.
They got a pepper bar.
Oh yeah.
The Subway sales climbed as a result, so Jared was hired as the official spokesperson. His life went from dull and boring to fortune and fame overnight. He was touring the world, doing events with Subway, doing appearances where he would share his story. He became a motivational speaker, and surprisingly, he was very good at it, considering 2 years prior, he didn't even know how to say hi to a stranger.
Oh.
Jared, the Subway guy, was an international sensation. He would talk to kids in middle and high schools all over the country, and the kids probably loved him more than the adults did. Even South Park portrayed him, which we'll touch on later.
Get away from my post.
What the hell? We'll touch on it now.
Yeah.
Season 6, episode 1 of South Park was called Jared Has AIDS.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. Jared Mania had swept the country. I watched the episode.
Yeah.
That episode was part of my research for this.
Wow.
Jared Mania had swept the country, and obviously South Park, Colorado. And Jared was coming to South Park for an appearance, and the appearance is mobbed. People, oh my God, it's Jared. He used to be really fat, baby. You know how Subway or how South Park does their thing.
Yeah. Hartman.
But the kids get to meet him after the appearance, and they ask Jared if he really lost all that weight by eating the sandwiches. And Jared says yes, but he did have some help along the way. He explains that he has AIDS. AIDS, not AIDS. Of course, he met a dietitian and a trainer, and the kids understood what he meant, but nobody else did. Before too long, a long scandal tanks Jared's career. He loses his fiancée and literally everything because everybody thinks that he has AIDS. He did the press conference saying that he wanted to give AIDS to all the children.
Oh man.
And hilarity ensues. But the ironic thing is the foreshadowing there. Because of the stuff that they were saying when he was saying, oh, I'm going to give all the kids AIDS and all that stuff, and they're all obviously taking it the wrong way. It doesn't seem so far-fetched now, does it? Right. Even though he didn't have AIDS, he didn't have active immune deficiency syndrome. But still, How would a child get active immune deficiency syndrome? So a little bit of unintentional foreshadowing going on there by Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Yeah. Crazy stuff happens. I tell you, it's just like the Freudian slips, that, you might not intend something and then it becomes a prophetic, weird and unusual. I mean, look at The Simpsons. Everybody's
I was just going to say, Simpsons did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I only brought up the South Park because, if South Park spoofs you, you're at the top of pop culture at the time.
Yep.
So that's why I brought that up. It's just, but so we're going to do the story in 2 segments separately that will come together at the end. So in the fall of 2006, TV and radio personality Rochelle Herman from the Health Beat of America, a radio show in Sarasota, Florida, got a call from the American Heart Association to interview Jared. And she jumped at the chance because he was so popular and obesity was a topic that she talked about quite a bit. One of the first things that Rochelle noticed was how Jared had an ego, but who wouldn't with how drastically his life has changed, So she didn't think too much of it. Jared was all about helping to boost the kids' self-esteem and take control of their health as kids rather than having to deal with it as an adult. Nothing wrong with that, right?
No. Seems honest. Yeah.
So after the interview, Jared began flirting with Rochelle. She told Jared that her daughter Angela was a huge fan and that she really wanted to meet him. So they arranged a meeting, and there are photos of said meeting. And Angela, I think she was like 8 at the time.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe 7. But later there was an appearance at one of the Sarasota middle schools, and it was a joint appearance featuring Jared and one of Sarasota's most beloved personalities, Rochelle. Before the appearance, Jared turned up his game. He was going through a divorce, and he kept on flirting with Rochelle and even asking if he could hold her hand. And she wasn't receptive, but she didn't stop him either. She didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Right before the camera started rolling, Jared leaned over and whispered in her ear how hot he thought middle school girls are. What? That's bold. That's freaking bold. That's
bold. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's somebody that thinks he's untouchable and that could get away with anything just because of who he is. And before Rochelle could act, the camera started rolling, and they even brought several students up there to meet with Jared on camera. And this whole time, Rochelle was struggling to keep it together, and she was watching Jared with these kids like a hawk. I mean, this whole experience made her sick, and she struggled with it. And this chucklehead's around children all the time, and to come out so blatantly and say that to a stranger, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
She knew right then that Jared had 2 different sides to him, the nice guy and the demon.
Yeah.
And she believed that he was a danger to children, and she was right. And she decided to find out and get proof on her own. She couldn't go to the police because she didn't have any evidence. All she had was a hunch based on one sentence that Jared whispered into her ear. Plus, even if she did come forward at that point, nobody would believe her.
One thing is like, why did he say that to her? Of all people,
I don't know.
Like, why would he say that to a woman, someone of the opposite
a stranger?
sex? Yeah, it's like what?
Well, yeah, and a mother at that.
Yeah, boy, this guy is stupid.
Yeah. But Jared was squeaky clean. He had no arrest, not even a speeding ticket. I mean, so she needed to get Jared on tape, admitting it, and so she went into action. 6 months later, the American Heart Association set up another interview with Jared. She got a hold of Jared's cell phone number, and she started calling him, and she began recording their conversations. And they started with small talk, and Jared was being careful, but wound up loosening up with Rochelle. And she began pretending to be interested in him.
Yeah, set up.
Finally, it began getting personal in between the two of them, but he wasn't talking about hot middle schoolers yet. They agreed to meet up, and he was going to be in West Palm Beach soon, and so she was going to interact, or she was going to record their in-person interactions. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Florida, Sarasota is on the West Coast. West Palm Beach is on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably about a 2.5 hour drive from Sarasota to West Palm, maybe even longer than that, depending on traffic and whatnot.
Yeah, and the route.
Yeah. The fastest route isn't even interstate. You got to take one of those little highways to cut across the state, because if you take I-75, you're going down there to Naples and cutting across Alligator Alley and coming out in Miami. That's way far out of the way. So
that's a common route for the Cessnas too. I know a lot of pilots that usually travel that route. So it's about hour 40, 2 hours. It's still a good length. So
yeah. So she shows up at Jared's hotel in West Palm, and she goes up to his room with the recorder running in her purse. And Jared starts feeling her up, and she pulled away. He said it would be hot if she put her hair up into pigtails.
Whoa. Creepy.
And he's like, will you do it for me? That creeped her out, and she decided she was going to bolt first chance she got. What he had said what he had said at the middle school combined with the pigtail thing convinced her that he was a pedophile. Jared went to the bathroom, and Rochelle bolted. She got to her car, and she hauled ass back to Sarasota. So she drives from West Palm to Sarasota, spends probably less than 20 minutes in the hotel, then drives from West Palm back to Sarasota. Jared called her back asking where she had gone, and Rochelle said that her kids had called, something came up, and she had to split. Now, required photobomb. But Jared bought it and said that they would try again sometime. Before too long, they would resume their phone conversations, and Rochelle eventually got him to open up the monster that was his real self to her. Man. Already at this point, it's more involved than what I initially knew.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. Same here.
I didn't know that he was being all flamboyant with it and ballsy and. Yeah, he just. I mean, what I thought that he had messed with a couple kids and that he got busted with child porn. I thought that was the extent of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was just a bust.
Yeah.
Whatever evidence he left behind, it was found, and the right person found it and turned it in. But yeah,
no, it's a lot more than that. She asked him what it was that turned him on about the younger women, and he actually answered this. He said it's their nice, pure bodies. She had gotten through to him, and in 2007, he called and opened up. He wanted to go to fetish clubs with her and watch other people having sex. She led him even further. She asked what he most wanted to do, and he said young. He said, we can work on that. She asked how young, and Jared replied, middle school, when girls are starting to get their boobs.
What? Awkward.
Rochelle said 9 or 10. And Jared said, yeah, that would be really hot.
Yeah. Wow.
Sick fuck. It's stupid fuck, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad he was stupid.
Yeah.
But, damn.
It's definitely the ego.
Fuck.
I mean, yeah. If
cold water and I'm wearing shorts. Ah! That never happened with beer.
right.
Those flimsy plastic bottles that bottled water comes in.
Oh yeah, those things are getting thinner and thinner. It's like, what the heck is this stuff made out of?
Yeah.
It might as well be a bag. It might as well be water in a bag.
Yeah. I just picked it up. It was a fresh one that I just opened. I picked it up, squeezed it a little bit too hard, and water right on my leg. Ah! Mm. It's ice cold. Like I said, that never happened with beer.
Yeah.
So Rochelle decided at that point that she should go to the FBI. And she had dozens of recorded phone calls. But sometimes, a lot of times, rich people can make things go away. Mm. Going to the FBI was like kicking a hornet's nest. But for now, let's put a knife in that.
Yeah.
So with all his fame and fortune, Jared started the Jared Foundation. Not the most original name, but it's allegedly provided education and events for schools, and it was to promote healthy eating and exercise. One thing that isn't mentioned that I'm curious about is whether or not Jared spent as much time with the boys as he did with the girls.
Mm.
But the Jared Foundation was just a front. I mean, yeah. when all of this went down, and I'm going off of memory here, but when I forgot to put that this didn't go in the notes, but the Jared Foundation made millions and millions and millions, and it only paid out like several $100,000 to these various places. You know, the rest of it was, you know, just basically went to Jared and his and his partner, who we'll meet in the second segment. Yeah. And it's just, so he was just it was a false nonprofit. It was just, he was just basically embezzling people and pocketing the money.
Normally these foundations too, not saying, only him, but a lot of these foundations too, are shell companies. It's money laundering.
Yeah. So. I mean, if I was going to put together a foundation, like if I won like $1 billion Powerball or something like that, I would start a foundation, but the money would go to what I said that it was going to.
Exactly.
A nonprofit is supposed to be just that, a nonprofit.
Exactly. I mean, the most, you're going to spend a pretty good lump sum to, hire a very specific attorney, bookkeeper to run the foundation. Administrative costs. Administrative costs, stuff like that. But
but all the money that comes out, people have to work. You have to pay them. Mm-hmm. But all the money that it makes, everything other than operating costs has to go to what it's supposed to go to, and the Jared Foundation was not doing that at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, they did a little bit, just to a little bit each year, just to show that they were doing something. Mm-hmm. But it was bringing in a hell of a lot more than was being put out.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Rochelle had decided to go to the FBI with the recordings of Jared saying nasty things about kids. She went to the FBI headquarters in Sarasota, and she was introduced to Agent Billings, and she shared everything that she had with Billings. Billings took the material, left to show it to somebody else. And a little while later, Billings and 3 more agents came back into the room. The agents were blown away that somebody of Jared's stature would say that crap, whether they knew they were being recorded or not.
Told you it was stupid.
Yeah. Now remember, Rochelle has a young daughter right in that age range. And the agents agreed that Jared needed to be investigated, but since she had made these recordings without his knowledge, it was not only inadmissible in court, it was also illegal. which is that is true. You have to,
Mhm.
if you're recording somebody, they have to be, not these radio stations that do prank phone calls or whatever. They'll be like the person answers, hello, you're on the air. Okay. And then they start,
Mhm.
they're not going to say,
Yeah.
hey, you're on the air. There's just, you're on the air. And that passed. Well, in the 90s, that was a loop. That was how they got away with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been changed. I think it's been changed now. But one time on my old radio show, we had these guests on. They wanted to do prank phone calls. Why? This was in 2013, like when we had just started it, and they wanted to do prank phone calls. So I called. I'm like, okay, because I knew I couldn't do anything like crazy, like was popular in the 90s, like on like what Real Radio did back in the day, like Drew Garabo, specifically.
Yeah.
his prank phone calls were great.
Oh, they were really good. Really good.
But so I called a Papa John's in Los Angeles, and I tried to get them, I gave them the address to another Papa John's like 2 miles away. They're like, sir, this address is another Papa John's. I was like, I'm like, okay. But I knew that I knew that I could get in trouble if I did something like what Garabo or the Jerky Boys or whatever.
Oh yeah,
did So I was just like, maybe I could still do something and just have it come off as a mistake, but that would be like harmless.
Yeah.
And they figured out that I was calling. They figured out that I was calling with the address of another Papa John's, and it wasn't funny. It wasn't. It seemed like it would be funny, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Now I could have done something like what the Jerky Boys or Drew Garabo or whatever. I could have done something like that. But
yeah, this is Frank. This is Frank Rizzo. Yeah,
Frank Rizzo.
I got some rocks to unload.
This is the super across the way, and I'm really pissed off.
Do you wear glasses? Without my glasses, I can't see. God damn it!
Oh boy, the good old days. 90s talk radio.
Oh man, yeah, those were the days.
It's the only good thing about the 90s.
Yep.
But anyway, but I digress. The agents were actually talking about the possibility of Rochelle facing felony charges. And they made a deal with Rochelle. Continue getting the recordings, but do it with legal protocol. She had certain things that she had to say prior to the recording, and she also had, she was told that she had to do this or she would be charged.
Oh,
yeah. And the things that she had to say prior to the recording was basically like 90s radio. Like I said, you're on the air. You just something to make it legal.
Yeah. See, those are the can of worms you gotta open. That you gotta realize you're opening up. You go to the authorities. Be ready.
Yeah, exactly.
To go the whole way.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
And so the calls become even more graphic at this point. And Jared at this point trusted Rochelle. One time she asked him how old the youngest girl that he'd ever been with was, and he actually said 11 or 12.
Damn.
He said this knowingly and admitted it freely. He actually searched these girls out, did the act, and then gave up the information. He was boasting about it.
Wow.
I mean, this guy really thinks he's freaking untouchable. And we're going to get to something else soon. He knows what he's doing is wrong, and we'll get to that shortly.
Yeah.
But the FBI wanted names, and Jared said that he couldn't remember the names. And it's just like I'm hearing the words from Jared's mouth on these tapes, and I can't help thinking, what a freaking idiot. I mean, talk about word vomit.
Yeah.
Rochelle was performing extremely well, pretending that she wanted to partake in these activities with him. Yeah, and Jared was eager to have an accomplice. He had an apprentice.
Yeah, because I guess he figured if he found somebody that he can trust and partake in these
that would
things.
also
Yeah.
that she definitely wouldn't rat him out.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if like, oh well, she's all into this with me and everything. If I go down, I can blame her.
Mm-hmm. Have someone to go.
You know what?
down.
I bet that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah. I don't know though.
Yeah,
He was pretty stupid to start spewing that information out in the first place. So
Exactly.
maybe he wasn't that smart. I don't know.
Yeah.
Things that make you go,
Oh yeah.
Now keep in mind, Rochelle's recording all of this, and if Jared found out, he has resources. And she was constantly worried that he would see through her ruse, and she was scared of what he might do to retaliate if he did find out. You know, he had enough money to make her and her entire family disappear.
Yeah.
Working for the FBI was really taxing on her family, and every time Jared would call, she would record it, and then immediately after the call ended, she had to go hand it off to the agent. And it was at least every night, sometimes twice a night.
Wow. It's like there's an agent outside, just hanging outside in the bushes in the front yard.
No,
There you go.
No, worse than that. She had to get in the car and drive somewhere in town to meet.
Whoa.
If Jared called her at 3:00 in the morning, she had to answer, record the call, and then call up the FBI and say, "Hey, meet me here. I've got another one for you."
Yeah, like meet me down on, 5th and Washington at the subway.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Starbucks, but
The Subway's better.
right?
But they would meet at an abandoned Toys R Us building. That was their
really
thing.
Wow.
R.I.P. Toys R Us.
Huh.
I liked Toys R Us. That was cool.
That was
The thing is, yeah, I'm not like a big like action figure collector or anything like that. I'm not. I don't buy decorations per se. Things should just sit there or whatever. But I do like going into like toy stores or flea markets and stuff like that. Everything just to look at all the action figures. I like to look at them.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
like the stuff that I have back.
All the new cool toys.
Yeah, you can't see them you can see a little bit of it in the corner there in my picture. But I mean, the stuff that I have has been stuff that people have gotten me. I've never actually gone out as an adult. I've never gone out and bought like an action figure or anything like that. I just like to look at the stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, working with the FBI was really taxing on her family. And every time Jared would call, she would immediately, and I already said that. Her kids had no clue what was going on. They knew something bad was happening, but they didn't know what, and Rochelle couldn't tell them. Not that she'd want them knowing anyway,
Right.
Oh, Jared, he likes to hurt kids like you. I mean, they all knew that she was working with the FBI to help catch a bad guy. That's all they knew. And it got to the point to where, and this is heartbreaking, it got to the point to where the kids thought that somebody was targeting them specifically.
Ooh.
And, well, one of the kids was obviously Angela, but put a knife in that. Not in Angela. In the situation.
In the situation.
in the situation. And for clarification, there are 2 Angelas in this case. We haven't met the other one yet, but we will. It seemed like every call got darker and darker. Jared, on one of the calls, said that they should get some child porn videos and watch them together.
Oh, shit. Hell no.
He told her about a trip to Thailand, and this call haunts her. And all of it does, but this one in particular was really bad. She asked him what the most unique experience that he had ever had with a young girl. And he said that it wasn't with a girl. He said it was with a 10-year-old little, well, not even 10 years old, little boy in Thailand.
Huh.
He said Thailand was great. It's like you get whatever age you wanted, pay the price, and it's on. And you can't get in trouble for it there. That was what I was talking about when I said that he knew right from wrong, that he knew what he was doing was wrong because he knew he could get in trouble for it in the United States. He's like, you can't get in trouble for it in Thailand. Well, you can get in trouble in the United States if you do that in Thailand.
Oh yeah,
and somebody in the United States finds out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter where you're from and where you go.
If you're an American and you diddle a kid in a country where it's legal in that country, and the authorities in the United States find out, you're still in trouble.
Yep.
And rightfully so. But he even said that he would love for Rochelle to go to Thailand with him so that they could play. And I still can't believe that this information that he's bragging about, but now he's talking about a young, a little boy. So nobody's safe now at this point.
Yeah.
He spoke about how amazing it was having this little boy doing specific things to him, and him doing things to the little boy. And I like hot dogs. Have you ever deep fried a hot dog?
I've never deep fried a hot dog. I've
It's actually
deep fried
pretty good.
like chicken wings. Deep fried chicken wings.
Oh yeah, that's the only way to eat chicken wings.
Oh yeah. Not that deep fried hot dog.
Try
have a deep fried
hot dog.
Deep fried Twinkies.
I've heard that.
Yeah. And
I've heard that. I've never tried it. But
Yeah.
but it has to be fresh oil. You can't stick a Twinkie
I
in
know.
oil that you've deep fried chicken in. What the hell? Anyway,
Yeah.
just a little palate cleanser. There. So Rochelle then gets him to admit that he's. I started talking like that. You're probably like,
when it gets awkward, I'm changing the subject. You did it first. Mine's the next time.
but you're probably like, going, what the fuck is he talking about? Oh man. Rochelle then gets him to admit that he regularly did this type of thing in the U.S. as well as overseas. The things that he admitted to doing had her throwing up as soon as she hung up the phone. And I can imagine she's, as time goes on, she was kind of like bulimic.
Yeah.
At this point,
And I mean, she's got guts. This woman's got guts to continue on. And can you imagine the PTSD?
Well, number one, she has to.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah, she has serious PTSD from it, which we're going to get to. But number one, she has to keep doing it, and number two, she wants to keep doing it because she wants this fucker behind bars.
Yep.
She was totally committed to that. She was committed to it when she started doing it.
And can you
But
imagine
but
not telling you? The only people that you're having communication about this is the FBI. You can't say anything
right,
to
you can't
anybody.
say shit to anybody. Yeah, and I cover on the psychological aspect of that later on in the episode, and it's just so it's just put a knife in that. But this operation went on for several years. Why? Because even though he's admitting to it, there's no actual proof. He could have just been spouting bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is true. He could have been, but
Yeah, don't know.
if somebody's admitting to all that shit and it's not true, I think he should be locked up just for that.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Thought, please.
Because if you're going into that much detail about it, then you've obviously put a lot. But then again, having those thoughts isn't illegal. It's acting on them that's illegal.
Mm-hmm. Yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
Big Brother is watching. Oh, I'm sure I'm on a watch list because of all the shit that I look up for these episodes.
My podcast probably is the seance. We talk about some stuff on there. I don't know.
Conspiracies and stuff.
Every now and then we touch on, depending on the subject we're on, we'll throw a little interesting nuance of, yeah.
So ConsciousRadioNetwork.com, and the podcast is called The Seance.
Yeah. And we're now on Rumble too, so.
Oh, okay. Rumble.
Yeah. Rumble. Get ready to rumble.
I gotta find a better cash register sound.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of those little bells on a tricycle or something.
Oh, you can get like similar to the one that's on Pink Floyd's Money.
Money, yeah. I was just thinking that. So anyway. And one of the commercials, Jared says, "I feel like I could do anything." Looking back on it, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Because he was right.
Oh.
Without a victim to come forward, they had nothing. But this was destroying Rochelle, and the worst was yet to come. Rochelle kept a private diary about her calls to Jared because, she has to let it out somehow.
Yeah.
So she came home one night and somebody had been in her office. She found ripped pages from her diary. Her daughter, Angela, was the one that had found the diary, and it crushed the relationship with her. Angela was angry, and Rochelle decided that was it. She's done. So in 2009, Rochelle and the FBI came up with a plan to lure Jared to Sarasota and to catch him in the act. Rochelle was setting up a fake birthday party for her son. I got to put this out there. In 2007, when all of this started with Rochelle and the FBI, Chris Hansen's To Catch the Predator was still on the air. Why not just arrange something with him where Rochelle would promise to have a young girl waiting for him, and then when he shows up, Chris Hansen is just sitting there waiting?
Yeah.
There's no reason for all these years of Rochelle polluting her mind and harming her family with this. Hi, Jared. Why don't you have a seat? That would have been the biggest episode of To Catch a Predator that there ever was. If Chris Hansen had brought down Jared Fogle,
Yeah.
missed opportunities.
Now, how long was this operation with the FBI and turning over recordings? How long was that?
3 or 4 years.
Wow. You know something? I blame the FBI for that. That's bullshit.
It is.
You're supposed to protect the public but not, freaking put the people that are supposed to help you guys freaking in jeopardy.
Yeah. And I touch on that too.
Put a knife in that.
If I'm not on a list, I will be after this episode because of my critique of the FBI. FBI, open up!
Right? Oh, shit.
Hi, Jared. Why don't you have a seat? That would have been great.
Yeah,
That would have been fucking awesome.
that would have been.
But better late than never. They set up a sting operation, and this would prove that he was willing to cross state lines to have sex with a child. Chris Hansen could have accomplished that too. And it might have actually happened. Yes, I'm telling you that this sting did not happen.
Jeez.
Spoiler alert. But Rochelle tells Jared that this was her son's birthday party, and that she was going to have a big party, and for a bunch of kids and everything, big, huge to do, and she invited him to come. And Jared said yes. He didn't need any prompting either. He wanted Rochelle to invite all of her son's friends and all of their brothers and sisters. He wanted a huge selection.
Jeez.
And he said that he wanted to see all the kids checking out Rochelle in her sexy bathing suit, looking at her big boobs and her nice big ass. He wanted to watch kids, checking her out, which is, I don't know.
Awkward.
Kids don't start checking out other kids' moms until they get to high school.
Right. Oh.
Anyway. Weird, yes. Creepy, yes.
Awkward.
Yes. But Jared seals his fate. He says that he wants to watch Rochelle, or he said that he wants Rochelle, and I quote, to watch him pound a little kid.
What? Okay. That's, yeah. No comment.
Oh, man. Then he starts coming up with ideas for Rochelle to prepare the kids for him, and he's literally explaining to Rochelle how to groom children. He tells her to have the kids talk to Jared about sex like they talk about it at school with each other. He's like, because everybody knows middle schoolers talk about sex. And he then says that he wants to watch the kids change into bathing suits. He asks, and I heard all of this shit on tape.
Wow.
This is on the everything that I'm quoting is on that documentary. Everything. Wow. And then some. There's stuff that I left out.
Huh. That's good.
But
this is censored.
It's just this episode was going to be long enough, and I didn't need to really go through everything. You get the drift. I get the gist.
Yeah, I get the gist.
I had talked about doing this episode months ago, while Todd was still a part of the show. Now, Todd really had a problem with covering the kitty.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had no idea the extent of Jared's depravity until I started putting this episode together for now, because I never started doing it. It was just something we were talking about, and it was just like, okay, there's the possibility of some kids stuff in there, but I think you could get through it. This episode would have broken Todd.
Oh. Yeah.
I mean, I had to take break. I was talking with another podcaster as I was doing these notes. I was just like, should I even put a trigger warning in? I had no freaking clue it was this bad. It's just like, even now, even though I've already been through the notes, I've already written down the notes and everything. It's still, it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah. This is, sensitive.
Mm-hmm. So he asked, somehow a girl from a broken home had come up in conversation. And he's like, well, what about that girl from the broken home? She'd probably do. And Rochelle said, well, she's only 7. He says, that's okay. Tell me about her.
Oh.
He then asked Rochelle, this is the worst. He then asked Rochelle if she'd do anything that he tells her to do, and she says yes. And he makes her promise. She says, okay, I promise. He then asks if Rochelle will let him see her own kids naked.
What? Hell no.
He had her kids in his sight. It's as if none of this, if nothing else up to this point was crossing the line, that's crossing the line.
Dude, if I was her at that second, I would have freaking clocked him square in the face.
Well, they're on the phone.
Oh,
They're on the phone.
Shit.
Would have found a way to punch through the phone, like in the cartoon.
Yeah. Wild E. Coyote stunt.
Yeah. Now they were 10 and 11 at this point. And he then asked her if she'd be okay with him putting cameras in their bedrooms. I mean, he's just spewing all of this crap out, and it's getting worse, and it's snowballing. And he's just talking about it like it's normal, everyday bullshit for him.
Yeah.
And it's also like, what the, dude? Just grab a gun, put it in your mouth, and pull the trigger, please.
Yeah.
You know?
This guy is freaking sick.
So Rochelle played along because she had to, but Jared's schedule changed, and now he would be there in 3 days instead of a week later.
What?
But the FBI couldn't get ready in 3 days.
I call bullshit on that. They could always get
I
ready.
do too, but once again, call Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
But Jared couldn't make the original schedule. It wasn't possible. So the party never happened. And Rochelle's nearing having a mental breakdown, especially once Jared set his sights on her kids. Not to mention, she saw him on TV multiple times a fucking day.
Yeah. I would have just unplugged cable and just said, no commercials.
Yeah. One night she hit a breaking point and she went to see a friend of hers, Sean Ozzy Osbourne. It was Sean Osbourne, but he was a radio host, so he just threw in the Ozzy part. But he was a radio talk show host. And they were friends, they were close. And she said that she had to talk to somebody, and she chose him because of how close they were. Yeah, and she made him promise not to tell anybody. And she told him that Jared from Subway wants to see her kids naked, and if she didn't let him, he was going to kill her. Osbourne thought she was crazy, and of course, why wouldn't he? Well, that sounds pretty far-fetched,
Yeah.
you know. But she couldn't tell anybody, and it was ripping her apart.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so, but he said he's just like, well, she was so convinced, like she's either crazy or she's telling the truth. It's one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't sure what at that point. But he didn't report her or anything like that. You know, and it was probably something along the lines of just like she said, boom, and just that little bit of a release right there probably made her feel at least a little bit better for a little while. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I could.
You have to
It's
tell
like
somebody.
if you're carrying something that weighs 500 pounds and you remove 1 pound of it, you're going to feel a little bit better for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So anyway. Shifting gears to 2010. Jared was getting irritated because Rochelle wasn't meeting with him in person and began contacting her less and less. And Rochelle still didn't feel safe, and she knew that kids all over the U.S. and the world weren't safe either. She was coming apart. She wanted desperately to tell somebody, but she was under an FBI gag order. So on May 13th, 2010, she went to the Sarasota Police Department, and she actually turned in the FBI for not doing due diligence to close the case.
There you go.
And she talked with a detective about the case and her concerns about the kids, especially her own. And the detective thought she was batshit crazy until she showed the tapes. She had made backups. Good on you, Rochelle. She had made backups.
Hell yeah.
The detective was like blown away. She was like, what? Holy shit. But the problem here was Jared lived in a different state and no crime had been committed in Sarasota that they knew of. Well, I mean, there's no evidence that anything happened in Sarasota other than a creepy whisper in the ear.
Yeah.
But they believed her. And the detectives spoke with the FBI, who did confirm that there was an ongoing investigation on Jared. So Rochelle told the detective that she's like, I'm going to play the tapes on the radio show. And the detective said, that's not a good idea. Number one, it could scare the suspect off. But it could, not to mention, it could also bring her a bunch of problems because she was under a gag order.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that Jared could easily put a hit on her or her kids or both, so she agreed not to broadcast the tapes.
Immediate witness protection program.
Yeah, but still, she's violating an FBI gag order.
Yeah.
They're not
I wonder if you can get a district court judge to do something. I don't know.
I don't know. But, well, this district, the FBI's federal. So I don't know. Haven't done it.
Yeah, unless they contacted the police department that he lived in.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in the second segment. Here in Florida, you have Rochelle, just this Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
And it's literally the Lone Ranger. That's what I'm going to call her, the Lone Ranger. And she got her like doing all of this herself and everything, but in Indiana, a freaking task force gets on board. So. I need a new guitar. Yeah, I do. I think I want another 7-string guitar. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want another one. I think it just I just they're really 7 strings, really cool guitar and everything. Another palate cleanser.
There you go. 7 strings, man. Got to keep it odd.
Yeah, that way it doesn't go into 3s. One night shortly after all of this, Sean Osborne was on the air, and 2 men in black suits with black sunglasses came, and they were beating on the studio door. Here come the men in black.
Yeah.
But they had FBI badges, and they asked for Rochelle. And he's like, "Look, I'm on the air." And they're like, "We'll be back."
Mm-hmm.
So when he signed off, Rochelle was there, and when he signed off he signed off, and the station went off the air for the night. It was one of those that didn't run 24/7.
Yeah.
And they ran out the back door and then went across the street to the bar. The FBI actually raided the radio station. They took computers and anything else that they wanted. They also, at the exact same time, raided Rochelle's home and seized anything that she hadn't turned over. Rochelle was told to keep her mouth shut or she would be charged with impeding an investigation. So she did what she was told. And now it doesn't mention if when they raided Rochelle's house, if her kids were there at the time.
Yeah. Well,
I'm assuming they weren't.
And what's crazy too is she has yet to even do anything against the gag order. Technically, right. Other than telling a friend of hers.
She talked to the Sarasota Police Department.
Yeah.
But the police department, they're going to follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to. They don't have anything to worry about from the police department. They. I suppose somebody could have leaked it, but I would assume that, when she went to the police department the first time, I would assume that the detective she talked to, it was maybe they probably kept that really tightly zipped.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
You'd only have
there was
a
probably
couple, yeah,
maybe
one or
only
two
three
officers.
people, a detective, the chief, or whatever. It probably wasn't common knowledge, therefore it wasn't going to be leaked from the Sarasota police.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
so Rochelle did what she was told, but I think that if her kids had been there, then it would have come out in the story.
true.
Because they were already traumatized enough by everything that was that they were perceiving to be happening. Thinking that there's like a mafia hitman or something like that, like after them specifically.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for her. So, but nobody's mind is able to cope with years of abuse of the psyche like this, and with no way to let it out. And I applaud Rochelle for how she handled it. And I don't know how, if I could have handled it the way that she did. But she didn't come out unscathed though. In 2012, she was diagnosed with reflex sympathetic dystrophy and wound up in a wheelchair. This is a chronic disease that is known to be the most painful chronic disease known to man. And, that on top of PTSD, she lost her career. She wound up on lots and lots and lots of pain medicine, and the change in her, she wound up putting on a ton of weight, like the exact opposite of what happened to Jared. And she's just in like really, really, really bad shape. And, I don't know anything about, reflex sympathetic, dystrophy. I don't know if it can be brought on by like stress or whatever, or if it was just something that was going to happen regardless. But still, the timing couldn't have been worse, and not to mention like serious PTSD. And, she had lost her career, and meanwhile, Jared's living this wonderful life. I mean, he had just gotten married and he was living it up. Jared, by 2013, had made over 300 commercials, and he was worth $15 million, and his legend was growing. And that's just $15 million from Subway, not from the money that he laundered off of his, supposed charity.
Yeah. Man, he's still an asshole.
Yeah. It seemed like she had ruined her entire life literally for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And switching gears now, going back to 2006. Jared had hired a man named Russell Taylor to run the Jared Foundation. Now, this guy was shady. He was a hustler and a manipulator who could always get what he wanted. Jared, on the other hand, was not that guy, so he wanted to have somebody who could. So Russell was Jared's man who could get things. Little Shawshank Redemption reference there. Great movie, by the way.
Oh, yes. Very good movie.
So they had met at one of Jared's events, and at the time, he was working for the American Heart Association. So he wrote a speech for Jared free of charge, and it seems to me like he may have had plans for the Jared Foundation. Yeah, the speech went very well, and Russell was in. Once they hit the road together, that's where all the fun stuff started. They would do their good guy stuff during the day, promoting healthy eating and exercising, but at night it was booze, strippers, and sex workers. All paid for by the Jared Foundation.
Wow. There's where the money's going.
Yep. Russell was dating a woman who he had met on Facebook named Angela. Remember I said there's two Angelas in the story?
Angela. There's number two.
Why can this chucklehead meet a woman on Facebook? How do you meet a woman on Facebook?
I don't know. Probably.
If I friend request somebody that I don't know, it's going to be denied.
Right.
Anyway. they talked for a while, but in 2012, Angela and her two daughters, Christian and Hannah, ages 13 and 10, what did I write here? They talked for a while, but in 2012, Angela and her two daughters, Christian and Hannah, ages 13 and 10, he moved them into his house, and the family began reaping the benefits of having lots of money. Now, Angela and her kids, they were lower middle class, and all of a sudden they were elevated.
Ooh.
Russell was a bit of a film buff, and he loved making, movies, like legit, very well produced, good, movies that looked really good, and he'd made them off of, the stuff that he had, you know. Huh. He had lots of high dollar gear, and he made a movie about the girls' softball team, and one of the daughters said, it's just like, it kind of seemed odd because nobody else was doing that. Nobody else's parents were doing that. So, but they didn't think anything of it. They thought it was cool, and they showed a clip from it. It looked really good.
Yeah.
But Angela's parenting style changed when she met Russell. She used to be, hold on. What the hell? Oh, okay. Okay. Another person, I thought I had screwed up on my notes again. But another person who was on to Jared was Tim Evans, an investigative reporter for the Indianapolis Star, and most of his reporting was on sexual abuse cases. Angela had gone from being a religious church person to a party animal, and she and Russell even encouraged the girls to drink and smoke weed and throw parties at the house. It's just a pretty, drastic change there.
Yeah.
This was in 2012. Angela had been with Russell for about 2 years at this point. Russell's life seemed consumed by Subway, and he had more Subway stuff in his house than a Subway restaurant has. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
if you're making that much money, I'd be all about it too.
Yeah, I'd have like a Subway kitchen. Your whole kitchen's like a Subway restaurant.
Yeah. Although I'd put if I had that setup, I'd put pub sub food into it.
Oh yeah, have to. Pub sub.
Russell was constantly traveling, not just nationwide, but worldwide too, and he would take Angela and the girls on these trips as well. It was on one of these trips when the girls met Jared for the first time. And he was shy, and he was shy when they met. And Jared had Russell, and by default, Angela and the girls under his thumb at this point. It's kind of like that quiet, evil mastermind,
Hmm.
Not the type that's gonna, not like a James Bond villain, but a little more sinister. Yeah. Like the last person you'd ever see coming, he's going to be quiet and everything. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember those Saturday Night Live skits about Ronald Reagan during Iran-Contra in the testimony? Ronald Reagan was played by, I believe it was Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
And it was just like in court, they would be like Ronald, Mr. President, what happened here? And he's, I don't remember. My memory's kind of fuzzy. And then it would show him like in the Oval Office. All right, people, we've got to get down to business. It was a great skit. Phil Hartman. All right. Rest in peace, Phil Hartman.
Right. Oh, rest in peace, that guy. Yeah.
but it's kind of, Jared's persona, like when he's meeting new people and stuff like that, is all timid and quiet, but then behind the scenes, he's this freaking monster. Mm-hmm. That just made me think of that Ronald Reagan skit by Phil Hartman. Back when Saturday Night Live was good.
Yeah, when it was like, good material.
Yeah. Saturday Night Live can. If Saturday Night Live wants to sponsor us, I love the current Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm starting to see this as a movie. Now they're making like a movie.
Yeah,
a story.
it does have that vibe to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Not on the Hallmark.
Yeah, it really
channel.
does. No. Netflix.
Oh wait, no, the Lifetime channel. You know, some of those movies on those Lifetime channels, man, are freaking disturbing.
Yeah, they're all like men are evil and just want to kill you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's every Lifetime movie.
Exactly. Yep.
And the way that the actors spoof the villain in the story is just so over the top.
I know.
One time, Hannah had a friend that was 15 years old, and Russell wanted Jared to meet this girl. So she and this friend went to dinner with Jared, and at dinner, Jared was just his normal, shy self, kind of like Ronald Reagan in court. Well, I don't remember. So Jared's probably just like, eat Subway.
Yeah, me another tuna sandwich.
I got a 6-inch for you to eat.
Right.
Oh. God damn it. No, that was nasty.
Yeah.
But he was thinking it.
Yep. Can't avoid it.
Still like being on the show there, Paul?
I'm just, hey, it's a ride, man. It's a ride. I'm just coasting, man. It's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster of smut. Oh, God. But after the dinner, Jared was excited when he was talking to Russell about wanting to see her again. And he would text Russell about how hot she was and how he wanted to have sex with her. And the girls thought it was just guys having perverted conversations, like a pervy uncle who ran his mouth but would never actually do anything, you know?
Yeah.
Not that that's okay, but it happens,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah. You grab him right in the pussy.
Right. What movie was that? I'm trying to think.
That was Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, but there was something not long before that. There was something. Was it a movie? Ah, crap! I can't think of it. It was like something.
Revenge of the Nerds.
I think so. Grab my pussy. Grab my pussy. They say it like really quick. Grab my pussy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Trump was quoting when he said that in that clip that went viral about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what movie it was. I'd have to watch the movie, or at very least see a clip of it to put it into context. I know what Trump said when he said it. I know the context. Well, I know how he said it. I can hear him saying that in my head, but I don't know how it was said in that movie. So I don't know if he was just, I don't know. And that's about as political as we get on this show.
Yeah.
That wasn't even really political. That could have been anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It just happened to be a guy who would become president. So, Hannah actually told the friend about this, and the friend was like, ew, why the hell are you even telling me this?
Mm-hmm.
And that made Hannah feel dirty just because she realized that, she started to realize that this wasn't right, even if it was just talk, which it wasn't. But she didn't know that then.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014, Captain Chuck Cohen of the Indianapolis State Police got a call from a state trooper that he knew. The trooper said that he had a friend who had been talking to somebody who had been sending bestiality pictures through email and text. He got detective to look into it to find out what this was all about. Possession of bestiality photos is not a crime in Indiana, but the act of making said pictures or videos is. So he wanted to see if they could take down the people in the photos. So they tracked down where the communication came from, and it came from none other than Russell Taylor.
Wow.
The first nick in Jared's armor came from a fucking bestiality picture.
Wow. Yeah.
That was what got an actual law enforcement, that was actually going to do something about it onto the case.
Man, that sounds kind of counterproductive too.
Honestly, I'm surprised that
it's not allowed. It's not illegal to have pictures, but I'm like, what? I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, I think it's like that in a lot of states, though. But then again, the thing is, that could have come from anywhere. I'm surprised. I'm not knocking the officer that decided to go look into it, because good on him. But still, it's just like, I was scrolling through Twitter one time, and you know how like Twitter will put up like posts from people that you don't follow.
Yeah.
Just random feed and everything. One time I was scrolling through there and I found a really crap video. It looked like it came from Japan of a girl getting fucked doggy style by a dog.
Whoa.
And that just came up on fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
It was Twitter, not X, but still, it's just like, so my point is, it's just like, I'm surprised that he went through with it. It's just like that stuff could be so random, just it could have come from anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just
so for him to
saw something on Facebook. I think it was today. I saw something on Facebook, and it was on a podcast group, a public podcasting group.
I know what you're talking about. I think I saw the exact same thing.
And you saw like the women on there. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was a hacked account from somebody, and it was like it was like an ad for some type of like some sort of like sexual enhancement drug or something like that, and it had actual porn video being played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, if I say something naughty about about somebody, then I get banned for a month. But meanwhile, this shit gets up there and nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
So, Zuckerberg, you can bite me. At least Elon Musk was trying to put a stop to shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Zuckerberg's not.
No. Now he's got his own farm growing beef and eating it all. Hope you choke on your beef.
So in 2015, a search warrant was issued to search Russell's house for evidence of bestiality. While there, they found that and a lot more. There was an adult female in the pictures with an animal, and guess who? It was Angela Taylor, Russell's wife.
Oh.
They also found hidden cameras all throughout the house, specifically in Hannah and Christian's rooms. The police found more than 500 explicit photos and videos of children. Some of the pictures were of Hannah and Christian themselves, like changing, and Russell was actually recruiting underage girls for child porn, and they didn't even know it. And it's like they would let these teenagers come over and party and everything and drink and all that stuff, and of course they're going to go off and have sex. So they had videos of that too. Jeez. And some videos even had Russell plowing a teenager. Russell said that the cameras were to prevent theft, but the camera angle said otherwise. Some girls, undressing. Others showed like teenagers having sex. Some of it was even without consent. I mean, there was videos of like teenage girls being raped by other teenagers. There was video of Russell raping teenage girls.
Jesus.
Hannah and Christian were being watched every minute of the day when they were at home, and they had no freaking clue. But they had been being groomed from the moment that they moved in with Russell, and he and Angela were letting them drink and party. 12 years old, Russell had told Hannah that she should be having sex and exploring her body. Hannah said no, and then the next day there was a dildo waiting for her on her bed, along with a laptop with a porn site pulled up.
What?
Obviously, with the cameras, the hidden cameras rolling.
Yeah. Jeez.
When Russell was arrested, both Jared and Subway released statements. Jared said that he had no knowledge of Russell's crimes and he was shocked by it, and he had severed all ties to Russell. Subway, they had no affiliation with Russell or the Jared Foundation, and they were disgusted by the claims, and they were glad that Jared took quick action to sever ties to Russell. Just, yeah. Nothing, just like, nope, just passing the buck. No. 12 victims were identified, and the text messages were seized and read. Russell had sent a picture of a naked girl to Jared. Russell bragged that in the text, that he had tag teamed that girl. Didn't say who he had tag teamed with, although I'm pretty sure you probably figured that out. Yeah. It wasn't Jared, but Jared could have gone to the police and reported that, but he didn't. What he did do is he asked when he would get a chance to pound that girl.
Oh, man.
And this was when the investigation into Jared by, the state of Indiana began. Russell said that some of his involvement, some of his criminal involvement was due to Jared wanting child porn. Right. If anything, I don't know. This is a chicken or the egg scenario.
Yeah.
Which came first, Jared the pervert or Russell the pervert? Which was first?
They coexisted until they
I think that
met up.
They were twin flames.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Wouldn't be surprised if when Jared, as a high school kid or a college kid, was while he was still like morbidly obese, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like looking up kiddie porn sites and stuff.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
He may have been always into it. It's just something.
Yeah.
And as he got the fame and ego and stuff, he just thought he had the power to now control it.
Yep. So they got a search warrant to search Jared's home July 7th, 2015 at 5 a.m. They raided the home, and it was supposed to be a secret. In fact, the officers doing the raid didn't even know whose house they were raiding. They just knew that they were looking for child porn. But somebody leaked information to the media, and the next thing you knew, there were news vans up and down the street, helicopters flying all through the air, all reporting that Jared's house was being raided. It made national news immediately, and I remember the news. And also what police was looking for was leaked as well, and the nation was shocked as a result. And now the two segments come together. One person in particular who was shocked by all this was Rochelle Herman. And she had found out when everybody else did on TV. And she contacted the Sarasota ABC affiliate, and at first they thought she was crazy, but a reporter called Rochelle, and she told him the story. And the reporter did some investigating. Some reporters still do investigate these days, believe it or not.
Yeah, some.
But he felt comfortable that she was telling the truth. So he interviewed Rochelle, and this interview went national.
Oh.
And The public was waiting to hear. The public was waiting to hear what was found out in the house, but Rochelle's interview was a couple days later, obviously. But text messages showed that Jared had spent $12,000 a year on sex workers, and when he showed up in a town, he would contact sex workers that he had used before, and he would ask in text messages if they had access to underage sex workers.
Ooh.
He offered. This is all in text. He offered finder's fees if any of them could bring him a child. And he was successful on multiple occasions. So right off the bat, he's charged with crossing state lines to have sex with a minor. That's a felony.
Yep.
You know, that's a paddling. Simpsons did it.
Oh.
Crossing state lines to have sex with a minor. That's a paddling.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay.
And the first two they found were in New York City. They went,
Yeah.
they went there from, I bet he took the subway.
Oh, man. They charged him with conspiring with Russell Taylor to distribute and receive child porn and victimizing prostituted minors in New York. Deep. One of my co-hosts' side duties is to bail me out when I get tongue-tied. Now, for those keeping score at home, his house was raided in July 2015, and he pled guilty in August of 2015. The thing is up until 2015, there was only one person saying that they should go after this puke, and the FBI tossed her away like garbage after they were finished with her, and they did absolutely nothing with the information that they forced her to obtain.
Yeah, yeah. All this information that they have, they just sat on it.
Yeah, from Rochelle. Yep.
Bullshit.
And meanwhile, Rochelle's life is ruined as a result, you know?
4 freaking years worth.
Yeah. And I just get, you know what? Round of applause for Rochelle here.
Yeah.
And Rochelle, if you happen to hear this episode, God bless you.
Yes. God bless you. And the vulgarity that the feds had on this, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have done that.
I couldn't have. No.
Yeah. So people who had worked closely with Jared, they had no idea. His wife and his kids had no idea. This guy led a double life even better than BTK did. His wife immediately filed for divorce and sought custody of the kids, and she also denounced Jarek in public at a press conference. It also came out that on 3 separate occasions, Subway employees had filed harassment charges against Jared, and Subway did nothing.
What?
Subway, of course, denies this. Jared was evaluated as having a sex addiction. Jared was evaluated as having a sex addiction. Duh. His attorneys said that he traded his food addiction for a sex addiction and that he could be treated for it and recover. One prosecutor said, "You don't go from being addicted to food to all of a sudden being sexually attracted to children."
No.
And if I had a mic drop sound effect, I would play it right there. But yeah. I'm not going to drop this microphone.
Hell no.
If it was a Shure SM58, I might, but
right.
Those things are indestructible.
Yeah.
but not this.
Not that one. Not that one.
And not yours either.
No.
Yours is a Shure, but it's not an SM58.
Right.
So,
yeah.
A witness for the defense said it was mild pedophilia. If that's mild, I'd hate to see what that chucklehead thinks was major.
Yeah. That ain't mild. Holy crap. Jeez.
Prior to being sentenced, mild pedophilia, I would say, because remember earlier we said it's not illegal to have those thoughts; it's only illegal if you act on them.
Mm-hmm.
I would say mild pedophilia would be somebody who had those thoughts but didn't act on them.
Correct. Yeah.
Anything else is not minor. Well, it is minor. Yeah. It's with minors, but it's not. That's not minor. Anything other than just having the thoughts and not acting on them, that's not minor. That's major.
Correct. And we don't know how long. We don't know how long ago, even though he's been, talking about this and stuff like that.
Yeah, how long has it actually been happening where he's actually been doing it?
Yeah.
Other than, at what point did it go from being minor to major? How old was he? When did that happen? I seriously doubt that it happened while he was still a huge tub of lard. So, I would say that the first time it happened was probably after he became Jared from Subway.
Yeah.
I don't know, because otherwise,
unless there was another fat chick in school or something like that, I don't know.
But he likes little boys too.
Yeah.
He likes little boys too. Don't forget that. But prior to being sentenced, Jared made a statement. And you can read that if you want. I didn't put that in red, but you can read it.
Oh, he said, I have to become dependent on alcohol, pornography, and prostitutes. Not a day will go by where I won't think of the victims. I hope restitution will help in their lives. It is my intent to learn from these experiences so that I never, ever do these things again. I take full responsibility for what I've done.
Yeah, I bet he thinks about the victims every day.
Right?
Sick fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was sincere or if he was putting on an act, but I'm leaning toward the latter.
Yeah.
He would have totally kept going if he hadn't been caught. Totally. He would have totally kept going. He'd still be, if he had never been caught and was still Jared from Subway today or some other big thing or whatever. Hell, he could probably have been an A-list actor by now.
Oh yeah, probably.
He'd still be doing it.
Yeah. I still can't believe it's been like 10 years now. I mean, almost 10 years. It's been 9 years.
I wonder if he ever went to Epstein Island.
Oh yeah.
That's a good question.
He might be on that list.
Hurry up and release that. They need to hurry up and release that. I wouldn't be surprised if he was on that list. Him and Russell.
Right, yeah. Yeah. They had the money for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that Epstein Island just got sold, and the person that bought it is gonna put a resort up there.
Really?
Like an actual legitimate resort. Turn something horrible into something beautiful. Hey, more power to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would go to that island as a legitimate resort if I had the money.
Yeah. I'd go as a paranormal investigator. I'll be looking for all kinds of crazy shit.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That place probably got a lot of freaking crazy energy on that place.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
But nobody was killed there that we know of.
That we know
of.
That we know of.
Yeah. Although Epstein did not kill himself.
Yeah. We know that. Oh, yeah.
Jared was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months in prison, over 3 years more than what prosecutors had sought, and 3 times what Fogle had requested. So he got 15 years. It was 3 times more. So he said that he deserved 5 years.
Really? Jeez.
So he thinks in threes too.
Huh.
You can't do 3 weeks of BTK and still not have him on your mind.
Yeah, right? I don't know. Maybe he was part of that
Now,
Factor X or something.
I bet.
Yeah.
I can see BTK tied Jared up.
There you go.
Early on, we used to do like serial killer deathmatch promos. Might have to do one. BTK
What if
and
he
Jared.
can get AI? What if he can get AI to create a photo of that BTK tying up Fogle?
I'm sure of it.
AI will go. AI will go. Who's Jared?
Yeah, right. So, the judge stated that the level of perversion and lawlessness exhibited by Mr. Fogle was extreme. So to give him 3 years more than what the prosecutors had initially thought. Still, I think 15 years isn't enough time. He had 14 known victims. There's probably a lot more.
Yeah. I do like 5 or 10 years per count per victim. Life sentence.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if while he was overseas, you've seen the movie Hostel.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he engaged in something like that.
Yep.
It's just the way he so nonchalantly, matter-of-factly talks about, hurting kids.
Yeah.
But Rochelle's tapes had a lot to do with because it's rare for the judge to say, okay, well, the prosecutors said 12 years, I'm upping that 3. That doesn't happen very often. Yeah. But Rochelle's tapes had a lot to do with that. They were allowed to be played in court during his trial. So Russell Taylor got 27 years, and he turned state witness against Jared.
Oh man.
If it couldn't get any worse, it's going to get worse. As of 2020, Angela Taylor hadn't been charged, but in 2020, the case was reopened and text messages between Angela and Russell had been discovered. Angela said that she wanted to have sex with her daughters, and she wanted to let Russell have sex with them as well. Ooh. And she had been watching them on the cameras along with Russell. And in 2021, Angela was convicted of sex crimes, and she got 33 years because of being a willing and gleeful participant in her own daughter's molestation.
Wow.
Hannah and Christian even testified against her.
Holy shit.
So, but Christian now has a daughter of her own, and she loves her the way that a mother should love her daughter. Rochelle's son and daughter struggle with what happened. Her son moved to Taiwan and never came back to the U.S., which is why in the documentary I thought his voice was kind of odd.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he spent so much time in Taiwan and developed an accent.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So I'm just like, he sounds kind of weird. I mean, not in a bad way. It just did not sound like a voice that came out of a native Floridian.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time in some countries. A lot of time you start to develop mannerisms. I do that if I walk into an Irish pub. 15 minutes, I'm speaking with a British accent.
But her son is proud of Rochelle, and Angela is taking baby steps to try and get process everything that happened and everything. Rochelle is the hero of the story, and so are Hannah and Christian. Hannah said that she had never, at the time that the documentary was made, she hadn't met Rochelle, but she was grateful. I wouldn't be surprised if they've met, since the documentary was made. I wouldn't be surprised if they've met. In fact, I'd bet on it. No, never mind. Yeah, me betting isn't a good idea. Go Packers.
Go Baggers.
Yeah, that game's
Hmm.
starting right about now. I don't care.
Oh.
I just want to see the final score.
Right.
Go Packers.
You ought to have that. You ought to have a plan on your side screen there. That way.
I could do that. I could easily do that, but the stream, it might take away from my internet signal from this, so I'm
Oh
not going
yeah.
to. And I can't see my TV from where I'm sitting because of how I've got everything set up here. So Jared, according to TMZ, 2 years into his sentence in January of 2017, Fogle was reportedly got his ass kicked by a fellow inmate. A guy named Stephen Nigg. He pushed him down and unloaded a barrage of punches to his face, and he had to hit him. And that's how the whole thing started. That was a quote from Nigg's brother Jimmy. He told People magazine, he just doesn't like child molesters. Yeah. He continued, Steve, he's like, I can't figure out why you would want to do that to kids. So good on you there, Stephen.
Yeah.
And I really hope that he's somebody's bitch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But,
I mean, a lot of people know that, if you ever go to prison, just make sure the crime you committed was not against women or children, because you will get your ass kicked.
Yep.
Or killed.
Yep. Get Dahmered.
Yeah.
God, the guy that took out Jeffrey Dahmer, there was a podcast that did a episode on that guy as he was the subject of the entire episode.
Yeah.
And nobody, the co-host didn't know the name.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, well, like leading up to the thing in the bathroom at the prison where he killed Dahmer, that's when the host dropped the ball on the co-host, or came clean with the co-host about who they were talking about, and the co-host was like, "Holy crap! I had that's the guy that killed Dahmer." I shouldn't have told you that, because I could have done the same thing to you. Damn it! Jared, in a letter that was obtained by the New York Post, said, "I very much look forward to restarting my life, and I'm enjoying every moment with my family who have stood by and supported me. I am so lucky to have them." What family? I haven't seen any evidence of family standing by him. His wife divorced him. Yeah. His kids want nothing to do with him. His parents and siblings haven't been reported going to see him, as far as I know. To me, this sounds delusional.
That is delusional. Yeah, his family left him. I mean, it just, what family? It all in his head. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen, and I looked, I haven't seen any, information stating that, that he was going, that his family, like his parents or his siblings, had come to see him. I hadn't seen that anywhere, and I looked. So, I don't buy it.
Yeah, me neither. He's delusional.
Yeah.
Maybe he's now suffering from schizophrenia.
Botulism.
And schizophrenia. No, schizophrenic.
All right. I can't promise there won't be any more BTK references, but that series was like a weight off my shoulders because of how horrible the original 2 episodes. I'm like shouting it out. I'm shouting it to the world. I did BTK the right way. So anyway, but that's it. That's the story of Jared the Subway pedophile. I mean, guy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that was a deep one, man. I tell you that.
Didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stuff that was
I did not know. I did not. I'm like,
yes.
What?
Yeah, same here. I just knew the basics.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be an episode. Oh, we'd get to rag on a pedophile.
Mhm.
I honestly thought that that's what we were going to do. Nope. That was like psychological.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm not even making fun of Todd when I say that this episode would have broken him. I'm not even making fun of him. I'm saying that because he's my friend and I know him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you have to respect that too. And it's like, man, and I respect it too. I respect Todd for not wanting to cover.
Well, he didn't know any more about this episode, about this case than I did.
Yeah. Well, it's
when
just
we were talking about it,
just for the fact that there's pedophilia involved in it, and he's like, I'd rather not have to sit and listen to and have to reply to something other than saying that's fucked up,
Yeah.
I mean, which it is. It's really,
it is very
really fucked up. And I tell you what, for those who, and when it comes to anything, when it comes to children, for those who haven't, and not free marketing or anything. Have you seen The Sound of Freedom? The movie The Sound of Freedom? Good movie.
No, I haven't.
Good movie. It's about the bust of hundreds and hundreds, and saving hundreds, if not thousands, of children all over the world of child trafficking. Wow. Yeah. Really
check that out. I've heard of the movie. I know the name of the movie. I just hadn't seen it. But anyway, if you lasted this long, thank you for listening.
Oh yeah.
That was a rough one.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Next week we got a crazy one for you. Next week. Yeah. Well, it's just a crazy one. So, but thanks a lot for listening, and check us out on, follow us on social media and everything. Everything will be checked out on, on the episode notes and whatnot. And thanks.
Yeah. Thank you all for listening. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Don't forget to comment, and listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until then, we will see you next time.
Till next time. Later.
Later.